guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to be going over two different articles dealing with the subject of the country of Denmark, Denmark's government pretty much begging its citizens to hook up, right? And the title of these two articles I'm going to go over is, the first one is called Do It for Denmark Campaign Wants Danes to Have a Lot More You-Know-What. And that article comes from 2014. And the other one, its title is Denmark Begs Men to Have You-Know-What with Its Effortism. And by the way, a big shout out to Rich for sending me these articles. And guys, what we have here is the one article that I mentioned first. The first one is from 2014, and the other one is 2020. And essentially, the government of Denmark is begging its citizens to hook up, right? Because obviously they're not doing enough. Now, let's be honest here. Does anybody really think the government of Denmark really cares how much hooking up is going on with its citizens? Does that really matter to them? No, of course not. They don't give a crap about that. What they do care about is the fact that birth rates have been plummeting, and it's been going on for a long time. And I've done articles about this over time where different countries around the world are really concerned about this, not just around the world, but also here in the United States, because I think in the U.S. it's down 6 or 7 years in a row. And again, governments don't care how much hooking up's going on, but what they do care about is more babies, because they need the population to continue to grow according to their original projections, and that way then they can have guaranteed new taxpayers coming into the system eventually, and they can then take care of the elderly, because the population is aging, as well as have more consumers growing the economy. You know, more and also more workers to be small parts in the very large machine. So when all of a sudden there is a change to the plan, where all of a sudden people simply aren't having children as much, that scares the crap out of a lot of governments, because they're like, what the hell are we going to do with the big senior population? We need younger people, younger workers, paying taxes to help support these social programs. But anyhow, I'm going to go through these two different articles, guys. The first one will be from 2014, and you're going to see here what they're trying to do and get a company to basically give deals to people to have kids. And I've seen varying forms of this going on for years. But again, before I get into it, guys, I also mention this. Why do you think it is that more and more people are not obviously hooking up or having babies, for that matter? Because more and more people aren't getting married. And why more and more people aren't getting married? Because more and more guys are realizing it's not worth it. Okay, because the deck is completely stacked against them, and you're going to see in Denmark big time. And of course, because of the effortism movement, which is everywhere, you got more women acting like men, and men are not attracted to women that behave in a masculine way. And you all know this. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. So is any wonder that there's less hooking up, less marriages, and less babies being born? And the government can't figure that part out. Instead of saying, basically having the women act a lot more feminine and stop embracing these things like effortism, which is driving both sexes apart, let's just make deals and try to persuade the guys to, do this in some way. It's ridiculous. But anyhow, just to see the desperation that's going on really gives me a laugh. So first, I'm going to go over the article from 2014 to show you this has been going on for a while, not just around the world, but also in this particular article dealing with Denmark. So the first one says, again, the title is Do It for Denmark. A campaign wants Danes to have more you-know-what, a lot more you-know-what. I got to speak in code here, guys, because this is YouTube and you know how they are. Starts off, Denmark has a lot of things going for it. Last year, the UN's World Happiness Report crowned it the globe's happiest country, citing the nation's commitment to maternity leave, gender equality, biking, and drinking lots of wine when it's cold outside. Well, anybody from Denmark that's a follower that watches my stuff or stumbles upon this video, let me know if you consider it to be the happiest place on earth. Let me know about that, okay? Right now in 2021, as well as back in 2014 when this first article was written. Let me know about that. It says their economy is also tops, chugging away $211 billion in an annual GDP, despite its relatively small population of 5.6 million. Economic inequality, not a problem. Income distributes more evenly there than most places. Well, I'm not going to get into a whole economic discussion here about socialism and things like that, but you know my views on that. But Denmark has a you-know-what problem. Reevaluating that happiness ranking already. Well, it's not exactly a you-know-what problem per se. It's more like a baby problem. Ding, ding, ding. According to government statistics, Denmark posted a birth rate of 10 per 1,000 residents in 2013, its lowest in decades. The nation's birth rate was 9.9 in 1983. What could be going on? The lowest in decades. Well, maybe, just maybe, looking at the big picture, and especially looking back now how things are going, it isn't just the fact that all of a sudden people just don't want to hook up. It's a reason that maybe that more and more people are just, that drive to hook up was once there, but the attraction to the opposite sex is no longer there as much. I wonder why. Maybe because as time has gone on, especially over the last decade or so, effortism, modern effortism, is really taking its stranglehold everywhere, and the brainwashing is going on everywhere in movies, television, radio, media, news, music, you name it. And it's not about equality. It's never really has been, at least not in decades. It's about trying to make the genders equal, make men behave more like women, make women behave more like men. And when you do that, when you have women acting masculine and men acting feminine, it's going to turn them both off. But everything's all about the equality and all that. And at the end of the day, it's what they call cultural Marxism. That's really what it's about. And it's screwing everything up just as that term, that ism, has always done. So is any wonder that nobody's hooking up, let alone getting married? Because, again, guys aren't attracted to these ball-busting, masculine, marine type of women. And also they know, guess what? The deck is stacked against them big time. Pretty much they're just needed for their sperm, essentially. And you're going to see more about this in the second article. And so they don't know what to do. But we're not going to actually call out the obvious here, God forbid. Or people just simply aren't smart enough to see it. Or at least government certainly isn't smart enough to see it. Anyhow, it says, on Wednesday, a bold and hilarious campaign emerged in Denmark to reverse the trend. For the salvation of the country, a travel company organized a movement called Do It for Denmark. It wants Danes to act now without precautions. Denmark is facing a crisis, the company Spies says. We are concerned. The fewer Danes means fewer people to support the aging population, but sadly also fewer Spies travelers. Spies is a travel company, and this travel company has this gimmick they're working out with the government to get more people to hook up. It says, but don't fret, Denmark, there's a solution. Yeah, sure. Studies show that Danes have 46% more of you-know-what on vacation. And because more you-know-what increases the chances for more children, we call for a romantic break to save the future of Denmark. This is really what it's come to. Now, obviously, this is a company and they want to make money and they're using this situation to their benefit. But still, the government's obviously going along with this. The Post was unable to independently confirm that Danes have 46% more you-know-what on vacation, but the claim that people generally make more whoopee while on vacation does appear plausible, especially if they don't have kids along. According to a 2004 National Leisure Travel Monitor study, 1/3 of people reported they had more you-know-what while on vacation, and Psychology Today agrees. Well, all you have to do is go to any popular vacation spot, and guess what? You walk down the hallway at a certain time of the night, and you can hear things going on in the hallway. Or, I mean, how many of you guys have been in a hotel room, and you've heard activities going on in the other room? It's happened to me a number of times, right? On vacation. It says here, so can vacation, you-know-what, save the Kingdom of Denmark? Spies, the company, thinks so. So the company has sweetened the deal. According to its promotion, the company will give prizes to couples who get pregnant while on vacation purchased through them. First, the couple must select a romantic city. It recommends Paris and Rome, and let yourself be seduced by the city pulse. So the gimmick here, and from as a businessman, I always admire opportunities to make money in business deals. They're basically saying, hey, book a vacation through us, in particular to an expensive city, and go there and prove that you obviously hooked up and got pregnant on vacation, and you're going to get prizes through us. And those prizes guarantee and the other things, and probably the promotion of this will probably be financed by the country of Denmark. It says, afterwards, upon successful you-know-what, the couple is to shoot off a positive pregnancy test and medical records to the company. Then they may win 3 years worth of free diapers. Oh, great. Okay, so let's just see here. No kids and freedom and a lot more money and a lot more headaches versus having kids and the greater expense of all that and the responsibilities and all this stuff. Oh, but you get 3 years of diapers. Oh, whoopee. And just in case Danes are confused by this whole pregnancy thing, the company has offered a helpful how-to use your cycle to identify the most likely time to conceive. It explains. Avoid stress, get a massage, try yoga, take advantage of gravity. Lie down for at least 15 minutes after you know what. And men, Spies admonishes, avoid tight pants, even if you think it looks good. Oh, for goodness sake. So that's the one from 2014. So to show you this has been going on for a while. Right? Well, guess what? It obviously hasn't worked out too well, because now the next article is from 2020, when more the grip of effortism has taken place in the modern time, and seeing how things are going. And this title is Denmark begs men. Now, before it was on doing it for your country, now it's begging men to have you know it with its effortist. Wait a second here. Before, in the article before, it was all about just simply doing it. Now it's about the having it with its effortness. Is this article trying to say what I think it is, that a majority of their female population have embraced this movement, and pretty much it's gotten so bad that dudes simply aren't interested anymore? Imagine that. Again, as I've said before countless times, it's all about polarity. You know, you have differences that attract each other. You have men that are masculine, women that are feminine, and the differences, boom, like a magnet. But if you have two people acting the same way, it's like getting two magnets, and you reverse the magnets and they push away from each other. It's the same thing. No masculine guy is going to be attracted to some masculine woman. It's a complete turnoff, because it'd be like going out on a date with a dude or hooking up with a dude. And so heterosexual... Oh, for God's sakes. You can hear the honking horn over there. It's either sirens or horns or some damn thing, or seagulls landing on my car, because I'm near the ocean. Anyhow, where the hell was I? Oh, about the polarity. So yeah, dudes don't want to be on a date with a woman that behaves like a man. It's a total turnoff. And to be fair here, feminine women don't want to be on a date with a guy that acts all emotional and feminine. But what has the feminist movement been trying to do through all sources? Make men more feminine and make women more masculine. And is it any surprise that more and more the younger generation, Generation Z and the younger kids, they're not interested. I got nephews that just, to my knowledge, really have a whole lot of interest in girls throughout junior high and high school, when back in my day, that was the number one thing we were interested in. We wanted to hook up. Now it's video games and hanging out with their buddies and mountain biking and stuff like that. And I've read articles that the younger generation, the kids, teenagers, college, not nearly as much in interest in you-know-what compared to the previous generations. Where do you think that comes from? I mean, it could be a lot of other things. It could be, one could say testosterone levels are supposedly down because of environmental issues and things with the food, which I think there's something to that. Or maybe people aren't having kids as much because they can't afford it. There's something there too. But just there's the lack of interest says something to me. Anyhow, on to article number 2. It says, I love Denmark and the people of Denmark. Some of my fondest memories are riding on horseback through Klampenborg Park and meeting men and women who are generally kind, thoughtful, helpful, and friendly people. Sounds like a nice place. Denmark, however, has fallen ill to a festering infection known as effortism. It is the same illness that has taken hold of the rest of Scandinavia, Western Europe, and the UK. Because of this gender infirmity, Denmark's birth rate and its population growth has been plummeting, as is true with most of Western Europe. Imagine that. So it isn't just Denmark, it's everywhere. Okay, but they're focusing on Denmark here. Again, I wonder why. It's right here. Because of the effortist movement. Effortism has given women in Denmark an immunity from civility and license to openly hate and ridicule men. For example, it is not uncommon for girls to be sitting on a bus in a group and have them openly point to a man and discuss how unattractive he is. Now, does this mean every single woman there is like this, or every single woman is going to do what he describes? I doubt that. But obviously enough are that it's having a major issue. And it is everywhere you see. I see it here. Everywhere I go, you can pick them out a mile away. And the stories I hear, and of course what you see in the movies, TV, radio, all that. And when you have people, both men and women, watch this stuff enough times, they get brainwashed. It says here, the Danish legal system is set up so that once a woman has been impregnated by a man, the man is completely disposable in divorce. And the man's role as a sperm donor is further degraded by requiring him to pay for the child for the rest of his life so that the impregnated woman may enjoy her fulfillment as a modern effortist. Sounds about right. Now, every country is going to have varying degrees of things he's talking about here, but what have I told you all along about the deck being stacked against guys? So is any wonder that guys aren't getting married? Is it any wonder that more and more guys, let me rephrase that, are less interested in relationships, hooking up, because they don't want something to go wrong and be on the hook for these things for years. And they certainly don't want to be involved with women that behave in such a way. Again, does this mean they're all that way? No. But a lot and a growing number. But the power of the internet and social media and things like YouTube allows people to start shows and talk about these things and spread awareness and start blogs and all that stuff and talk about it. And more guys are becoming aware, and that's really a good thing. It continues, Denmark still imposes all the obligations of men that have to survive medieval chivalry, yet virtually sees men as nothing but completely disposable sperm donors who are occasionally allowed to work in the Danish socialist job market. The result is that only about 20% of Danish men are actively in the dating pool. 20%, according to this guy's study or his research, whatever it is, 20%, that's 1 in 5 guys. What does that say? Danish women are constantly complaining, listen to that, about not having enough men to satisfy their desires for you-know-what and social intercourse. Yet Danish women will viciously guard their effortism, disdain for men, life plans to treat men as disposable, and the concept that men are irrelevant except to give women the sperm and that the child some semblance of legitimacy. Again, and they wonder why guys aren't lining up to get married or be in relationships or even hook up anymore. One with intellect, sensitivity, education, and it says in parentheses, instead of the indoctrination that effortism requires, and human dignity might think that the solution to this problem would be to encourage women to learn something about human compassion, respect, human value beyond sex, and the beauty of binding interpersonal relationships. Well, that idea, him saying that, means that they actually have to be accountable and make some changes to the current way of thinking, acting, and the environment as things are. But we know the joke about ladies and accountability. So, and you think the government's going to go along, especially a feminist influenced government? No, it's easier to blame guys because we need to man up and get married, or they need to do it for Denmark or some bullshit like that. Easier solution. Realize, guess what? This whole movement is ridiculous. It's full of shit. It's not working. And look at the negative impact it's had on society. But that's no one's going to do that because that would actually put men back in a better picture. Continues, the Danish government doesn't have any of those problems. Here is the Danish government's solution. This is just one advertisement of an intense propaganda campaign Danish feminist institutions undertook to try to beg men to inseminate Danish women and for mom in the state. And it says, trigger warning, this will offend your intelligence, and if you're a man, it will grind down your dignity and self-respect with a boot heel. Now, in the article, guys, which I have a link for in the description, you can see the video, which is an advertisement to try to get guys to hook up, okay? And it's sponsored by the same company that I mentioned in the first article. So they've been doing this for 6 years, and guess what? It's not working. Apparently getting 3 months of diapers isn't encouraging enough for guys to sign away their lives and their bank account, I might add, and all for the glory of the country. No, hell no, but they're still doing this. So I encourage you to stop the video, go down to the description, watch the video real quick. It's pretty funny. And it goes on in describing the video. Note how the advertisement features a prominent man-hating feminist in the narrative in order to appease the fascist feminist lobby that controls the country's social laws and norms. Note how the advertisement relates to the man to a mere decoration and accessory and sperm donor. That's pretty much how the guy in the video is definitely kind of made out to be. He says, note how the key solution in the minds of the feminist state is for women to seduce and grape, speaking in code here. And he says she employs force at the end of the video, which would be a serious crime if a man did it. The man as opposed to an honest interaction between two adults seeking mutual love, respect, and compassion for each other. Do it for Denmark. That's the advertisement. The mass media feminist propaganda campaign was an abysmal failure in Denmark. The government remains clueless. Something is indeed rotten in the state of Denmark. So there you go. And I guarantee more efforts will be made to try to get people to breed. But and get married, I bet, but it's not working. And again, this isn't just Denmark. This is in lots of countries. And I started noticing these things, I would say about 2015. That rings a bell. Now, that was many, many, many years before I even considered doing a channel like this on YouTube. But I started really picking up on this crap back then. I know it was going on in Russia, a bunch of different countries, all these different incentives and deals from the government, tax deals, and all this other shit to get people to breed. But generally speaking, if people aren't getting married, they're not breeding as much. They're not having babies, okay? But why would more and more guys get married if more and more guys are realizing it's not worth it to them? As I say so many times, the deck is stacked against them, the family laws, all that. Why would they do that? And more realizing, hey, I'm happy on my own. I'm happy doing what I want to do when I want, knowing my money is protected, enjoying my life, that type of thing. And there are certainly guys that are married and they found their unicorn to a really cool and good chick, because there are good women out there. I know a lot of people are like, SSM, that's bullshit. And there's other channels that would say, no, that's bullshit. No, there are good women out there, but they're hard to find. Okay, they're unicorns, if you will. So if you got one, cool, good for you. Don't screw it up, as long as she doesn't screw it up first. But anyhow, more and more guys simply just aren't buying into this crap, and it's going to continue and continue. But as long as effortism is becoming more and more mainstream, modern effortism, trying to basically grind down guys to little nothings and make us to be second-class citizens, nobody's going to be hooking up, because again, you're going to have women acting like men acting like women. They're both going to turn each other off. And there you go. And the government's going to be scratching their head saying, what do we do? What do we do? A lot of people joke around that one day there's going to be a bachelor tax. Literally, not just like on your taxes that you're single, but just something else on top of that to encourage you to get married, obviously have kids. I'm waiting for something like that down the road. Will that happen? Who the hell knows? You just never know. But I'm waiting, maybe in some country. I don't know about here in the States. But anyway, guys, I thought that was a pretty funny thing to do, but it shows the desperation that these governments have. And it's not going to stop. I'm just waiting to see when things start to happen here in the United States. But anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.